So a little while ago, I talked about different fuel sources that your body uses. And this is why it's important sometimes that you have to fuel yourself with enough of the different macronutrients to get through your day. So let's paint a picture here. Let's say you're avoiding carbohydrates at all costs because maybe somebody convinced you that if you eat more fat, your body burns more fat. There is a grain of truth to that, and we've talked a little bit about that before. But remember, fat burning, fat usage does not mean fat loss. And I'll tell you why. Your body has to have a net expenditure of energy. You have to spend more energy than you intake. And it actually doesn't matter what type of energy you intake, except to signal your body what you need to do. Now, let's put that aside for now. Let's say you're going through your day, you're in a calorie deficit already. You're getting enough protein. So what you're doing is you're signaling your body, keep the protein by refueling it. You're in a calorie deficit, so you're telling your body, burn some of that excess fat that we have. And then now you're trying to make that even better by not having carbohydrates because you want it to be 100% fat that you're burning. But then what's happening is you want to go do a workout. You want to go do a high intensity workout for that matter. Maybe you want to lift weights. Maybe you want to do a high intensity class, a boot camp. Maybe you want to do plyometrics. And then you start to feel a little bit woozy. You still feel nauseous. Your stomach hurts. Maybe you're sweating. You're losing all the color in your skin. What's happening? Your body is signaling you. It's not getting enough energy to get through that workout. So maybe if you're relying on that workout to get into a further calorie deficit, you're actually losing out because you have to cut it short because it's too intense. And you have two choices at that point. The first choice is leading into that activity, have a little bit of carbohydrates. Because what it does, it gives your body time to build up and start to use fat. It can't do that right off the hop. If you jump right into a plyometrics class, your body is burning just carbohydrates. It's because it's the only thing that's readily available. It takes time for the engines to warm up, for your body to use fat for fuel as an activity. So, what does that mean? If you're not having that initial burst of carbohydrates, your body's gonna burn through all the carbohydrates you have stored in your body. You haven't ingested it, and it's gonna have those symptoms that we talked about. And then you're gonna have to cut your workout short. The other option is if you're not going to have carbohydrates, you have to only push up to maybe zone 3. So that's where you're going to focus mostly on zone 2 and zone 3. Now, again, do what you want, but know what you're doing. We've talked about that in the past. If you want to get into high intensity activity for whatever reason, probably to burn more energy, that's probably one of the biggest arguments for it, then you need to sort of fuel yourself a little bit, maybe an hour before with a little bit of carbohydrates to get through that workout. And then maybe it gives you enough energy to get through that and burn 600 calories instead of not having those carbohydrates and getting to a third of that workout and only burning 200 calories. And then you're not getting the calorie deficit that you're looking for, and your body actually won't get rid of fat because you haven't gotten into that calorie deficit perhaps. So remember, the fuel source that you're using is important to signal your body for what you want, but there's some nuance to this. And that's why we shouldn't just blindly follow these suggestions to cut all your carbs or whatever it might be. Carbs are actually your friend. They're going to be a key piece in your exercise plan. And it's the easiest thing to cut out at first. And maybe at first when you're doing low intensity exercise and you're not ingesting that carbohydrate, it's not so much of a big deal. But it's going to come to a point where you're pushing more weight, you're built more intense workouts because you've built up that capacity, and now you're going to need to fuel that activity to get through it. Otherwise, you're not going to burn enough energy. So remember, carbs, just like fats, just like proteins, are your friend. So don't shy away from them.